Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Scarfinger. This is Scargasm. Now, first of all, Chase is in the building.
I am.
And second of all, there's a very weird conversation that we had about sex prior to the show that I'm going to have Chase put at the very end of the show. You know, behind everything. Just cut that piece out. It's kind of weird, somewhat interesting, but kind of fun, like banter between bros. So like if you are, not cool with two bros having a conversation about sex, you might want to avoid this part of the conversation. So this is your warning. Chase is going to put it at the very, very end. Like the show is going to end like normal with, I like that shit. Yeah, boy. Like all of that's going to happen. And then after that, there's going to be a conversation about this. Like anything with Scarcasm, it's not for the kiddos.
That's right.
But that shouldn't be a surprise because it's us. And we're going to go for there. So welcome back to the show. Uncomfortable conversations are coming after the show is over, and we're about to get to it. What's going on, bro?
Nothing too much. Just recording the show, man.
Word. How's your week been, man? Like
it's been normal, which is good. I like normal. We just got a few days ago. We woke up and the littlest one was out of his pack and play, which is kind of what we got instead of a crib. We were like, I don't really want to put one together, and we only have it for like a few months before they're out of it anyway, and they're like super expensive, so we just got this pack and play, and he's been sleeping in that ever since. Because it started out, you could put a little bassy in there, and he could be in there, but then he got too big for that. Now he's in the bottom. Well, he was outside of it one morning, and we were like, okay, it's time for a toddler.
Do you have any idea how he got out?
No.
Oh, just like one day you woke up and he was like, hey Dad.
Yeah.
What's up,
So we were like, yeah, it's time for a toddler bed. So my mother-in-law just sent us a toddler bed when she heard about it. So I put that together. It's a Ninja Turtle one. And it's been kind of a struggle to keep it into
real
it.
Question, though. There's a real question. Is it new Ninja Turtles? Because these new Ninja Turtle designs is just wrong. It's all kinds of wrong. Bro.
It's straight up 90s Ninja Turtle.
Word up. I'm cool with that. Ninja Turtles for real.
Where that freaking pizza that always looked like better than any pizza you ever put in your mouth.
I like Cowabunga Dude Ninja Turtles. I'm not really down with the rest of the shit. Like I've never watched the actual movies after like the first two, like the 90s movies.
Yeah, there's only three. The first one is a legit good movie. Like I watched it last year, and I was like, wow, this is actually a really good movie. Like still, like when I'm grown up. And the second one, I didn't like it as much as I did when I was a kid. That's more of a fun movie.
They put Vanilla Ice in the movie.
It was.
I can't remember. What's the third one? The third one is when they go back in time or some shit?
Yeah, that one just isn't good at all. I didn't even like that when I was a kid.
I don't remember it, but I think I have seen it, but I don't remember it at all. And then all of the ones, like, what are they? They're Michael Bay movies, right?
The newer ones are...
The current ones.
They're Michael Bay, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the Michael Bay ones outside of that one clip of them in the elevator making music. Like that's the only thing I have ever seen from any of those.
Right.
I may have seen a trailer, but that's the only scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen them either, and it's just the designs of the turtles just looked scary. Like they looked weird. But the second one, I heard it wasn't good, but I was a little interested in the fact that they did design the two henchmen for Shredder to look like they did in the cartoon. And I thought that was cool, but I heard it still didn't hold up.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'm not very nostalgic. I'm nostalgic about a few things. And like I've said many times, my stance has changed on being nostalgic. There are very few things that I'm nostalgic. I used to say I'm not nostalgic at all, but there are some things that really just kind of will kind of get me going in that way. But like you said, Buffy and Angel, maybe Mass Effect, like that's the kind of stuff that I'm kind of nostalgic about.
Yeah, it's weird when I think of like, I'm nostalgic for BioShock or something, and then I'm like, wow, but that's so like new. It's not like when I was growing up, but then it's really old now.
Yeah, it's really like your old ass, like like we like for real.
BioShock like, is 11 years old now.
Yeah, a young person of today looks at BioShock the way that you looked at Galaga.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like. Like I was having a conversation with my coworkers, and my coworker, she turned 50 this week.
Mm-hmm.
She just turned 50 this week, and she goes to this website. I can't remember the name of the website, but she ordered this like little like fake like Nintendo console with a bunch of like little games and stuff on it. Like I told her to plug it in. She bought it for her grandkids. But I told her to plug that shit in because they advertised it with Mario on the screen, but we know that Nintendo is not really going to let that shit run if it got Mario on it for real.
Yeah.
Somebody said that like it's basically the same game. They just kind of changed a few things like the names of shit. But it really is like Mario. It's like Mario 1, but like they call him something else. They call him like, Michael or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
unless he just literally just called a Jumpman, because that's actually what Mario was called before they actually made the Mario. Because Mario was in Donkey Kong before the Mario game, but he was just Jumpman.
Yes, absolutely. And then Pac-Man was really Puck-Man. But when the translation happened, they were like, the people here were just like, you cannot release this thing called Puck-Man. Like, people are going to deface the arcade cabinets and just take, like kind of erase that one part of the P just to make it Fuck-Man. So, like, you got to change this to something else, and that's when they changed it to Pac-Man. But I was also having a conversation, like, I'm full of, like, useless information, right? Like, I'm, like, really full of useless information. Like, from Beavis and Butthead, I actually know Butthead's real name. Like, I am full of useless information where that shit doesn't matter at all, but I fucking know it.
Yeah.
So we're having a video game conversation, and they're talking about like buying the Nintendo and stuff like that. And like none of my, I'm the youngest person of the office staff. Like, and then I'm also the one that's kind of in the video game still.
Mm-hmm.
So. Like, we had a conversation, and they had no idea about the video game Crash in the 80s.
Right.
They had absolutely no idea, because I started wearing T-shirts to work last week. I never really wore. Was it last week or the week before? But I think like the previous week. Yeah, last week. It was the first time I wore a T-shirt to work during the weekday. Like, when I had to work the occasional Saturday, I would just wear whatever because ain't nobody else there but me. So I just didn't wear T-shirts, but I wore a Nintendo shirt the other day, and that kind of sparked this conversation. And like, I'm having a conversation with them about the video game Crash, and they're all looking at me crazy. Like, your animals are having a ball right now. But I'm having a conversation with them about the video game Crash and how we owe modern video games in general to Teddy Ruxpin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's, and like a couple of the older members of the office staff had no idea who Teddy Ruxpin was.
I don't know how. Like, they wouldn't have got it for their kids or anything.
Yeah, I mean, but like, these are people that are like deep 50s, early 60s.
Right.
And age wise, like, they didn't give a fuck about who Teddy Ruxpin was.
So their kids, grew up in the 70s rather than.
I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not trying to do math right now. Like, I'm done with math for the day. But yeah. So like Teddy Ruxpin was like the thing. Like, before Tickle Me Elmo, there was Teddy Ruxpin. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like
And you
that
can
was
put
like,
like your NWA tapes into
of course,
Teddy.
everyone fucking did that. Like everyone, if you had an NWA tape, you put it in that motherfucking bear.
Yeah.
But like I was explaining to them like that about the video game Crash that they didn't know about, and I was telling them that like because of the video game Crash, they would not take video games into stores. But since that was the hot ticket item, Nintendo and Teddy Ruxpin had the same distributor. And they was just like, yeah, you can have some, but you need to put these you need to take these Nintendos too. Like, because nobody wanted them for a while because of the video game Crash. So they actually these things got into stores, they got into displays, and you were able to play it and realize that it wasn't the same thing. Like, think about it. Like the people that I work with have no idea of how bad the ET game was.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because they had no idea about the video game Crash, and ET was the start of the real video game Crash.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, we were thinking like some people were, maybe it was Sessler or might have been Cliff, like some of the more vocal, opinionated video game people were thinking that we were going to have another one because of all this stuff that was going on now, with the loot boxes and, how, for a while you were getting Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, and it was kind of, everyone was kind of getting a little tired of it, and, then the whole Gamergate stuff and all this stuff, it was seeming like it was getting...
No, but see, here's the thing. The reason why gaming crashed initially was because they figured that the people weren't sophisticated enough for them to have to do that much. So you would put out an incomplete game that you couldn't fucking finish, like ET, and these idiots will fucking buy anything. Let's just slap ET on the box and voila, we got a thing. But here's the thing. Back in those days, when the games got returned to the stores could return them back to the distributors. The reason why the reason why it crashed is because the distributors lost so much money and they went out of business. You know what I'm saying? They went out of business because people could actually say, like, nah, I sold these ET things, they will fucking return to me, so I'm returning these shits back to y'all. So they lost so much money that is ultimately what caused the video game crash, because they could return shit back to the people who sold it to them.
And so this whole time you've been like watching my animals like go crazy over here.
Pretty much. I mean, I look, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't been watching this shit the whole time. I kind of click back and forth looking at Facebook and shit. Like one of my homeboys posted a thing, and he's in Vegas right now, and I'm trying to figure out if he actually got married or they just took a picture with the chick got a veil on her head. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. That'll be.
So that was kind of what I was doing. I'm going back and forth, but your animals are really showing off for the cameras, but the people can't see it, so we should probably stop talking about this.
Maybe. Well, maybe I'll edit that one part out and put it on the YouTubes or something.
Yeah, why not? That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So, as far as my week, man, like, it's been boring at work. Like, seriously, I'm like, since September, everything just kind of slowed down a bit. And so, like, I spend a large chunk of my day watching YouTube and or Netflix. So it's just, I mean, it's cool. On one hand, it's cool because, like,
yeah,
I'm
I like.
at work.
I'm back to. I'm definitely liking boring right now after how crazy it's been. With 2 different hurricanes and all this the drama stuff that I was mentioning on when I was on there with Max, because I was going to mention it the podcast we were. So I had it written down in my notes, but then since it was like 4 of us, so the like game enthusiasts, I was like, I don't really want to derail the podcast, talk about all the stuff they probably have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
So.
Right. And that podcast was born out of necessity anyway. Like, they asked me to be on the show, and then the day changed to basically the same time as we record, because previously it was set for Wednesday.
Well, that was a good. It was fun.
And you know what? I was really in the type of situation to whereas I was just like, yo, like at this point you and I have a solid partnership when it comes to this shit. Like, we each have our parts. I mean, I'm the talent, of course, but but like, I mean, you still do a lot. So like, I would. Even though I don't get to guest on a lot of shows these days, I think I would feel kind of funny about it if I didn't, at the very least, try to get you connected to some of the other stuff that I got going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I've got you. You've been on Facetious,
yeah.
But the Dream Team is not a place for you. Like, you would get absolutely eaten on the Dream Team.
I would.
Like, yeah, I think you would get ate alive. It happens every time we have a guest. It's only happened a few times, and then like times when I left for a while when I was going through my mental break, and when Jay left for a little bit when he moved to Korea, and we were still trying to figure stuff on. Almost every time we have a guest on the Dream Team, the guest just absolutely fucking disappears. It's for real. I brought Trojan Scooter on one time. Shout out to Trojan Scooter. I don't think he still follows me anymore because, you know, there was a whole thing with him and my ex-wife. But I mean, you know, I kind of patched that up. Like, we cool, all that other stuff. But I had Trojan Scooter on the show, and Jay wasn't there. And it was just me and Rashani.
Uh-huh.
And what happened was, like, this is somebody who had been a fan of our individual shows that, like, after the show started, after the first couple of minutes, he forgot he was on the show. He just became a fan again and was just listening to us talk. So, like, basically the show could have survived just fine without him.
Right. Because that's happened with us a little bit. And I think with Facetious, especially when it's like just a 2-people show, because we get in our groove, and then you and Blue get in your groove, to where like when I'm on there, it's not like I'm in listener mode. It's just like trying to figure out where to like come in, you know, because there's such a flow there. And I think some people have that problem with coming on here too.
Yeah, and with the thing like the Dream Team, like the three of us have known each other and like really have been doing shows for years. So we know and we know each other very well. We know each other's triggers, and we know each other's limits of how far I can take this joke. You know what I mean? Like, really, like, and sometimes we really fucking get into each other. And like, when you invite somebody on that hasn't been around that long, we don't necessarily know where we should have stopped. You know what I mean? Like, where that should stop. And with the three of us, all of us are very talkative. So like, the Dream Team is every week, the Dream Team is double Dutch with the three of us. Like, we're just trying to, you know, we're watching those fucking, we're watching those conversations go back and forth, trying to figure out where we each jump in.
Yeah.
So it's just one
that's
of those
how
things.
People have to do with us sometimes. Like,
no, I think it's just me.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to talk over people.
Yeah.
And I tried to be better about it. I used to be worse. I used to be so much worse, and I used to be louder with it. Like the early days, maybe the first year of the show, I was just loud for no reason at all, like screaming everything. Like, I don't know whether I wanted to be like a shock jock or like a Rush Limbaugh. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these liberals? Like that type of thing. Like that was like my cadence in talking. Like I would just talk like that all the time. Until like one day I'm just going off about something like super mundane, and during the show, someone busts in the door and is like, "What the fuck are you screaming at?" And I'm like, "Okay, maybe I'm doing this wrong."
Yeah, yeah, it's cool, and plus I would like how I know Blue. I've talked to Blue before. We played video games and stuff before. Same with Marcus. And I've talked to Jay a little bit, but I've never really talked to Rashani and Jay.
You very much disappeared on the show with Marcus.
Yeah, but still, like, I was still comfortable. Like, I don't know how comfortable I'll be with people I've never talked to, but like, I was fine with the Game Enthusiast guys, even though I'd never talked to them because they were very approachable. But like if I had never talked to you. Like, and Pimp,
and like most of that show was white dudes.
Yeah,
it's white dudes in the Aaron. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like you.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm only comfortable around white people, but
I mean, obviously you're not because you're here,
right? Because I mean, I don't know the ratio of my high school, but it was a pretty big ratio of African American in my high school.
Bruh, just call us black people. Like, a lot of us don't like being called African Americans because we don't have any real connection to Africa. So, like, calling someone, like, I don't prefer to be called African American. I'm just black. But just call me black.
Okay.
But, like, don't say it in, like, the super white way, like, hey, you're a black guy. Like, no, I'm just a black dude. Like, let's just keep it there.
Like how we said when Jay was on, don't say the blacks.
The blacks, yeah. Don't say the blacks. But see, like it. But that's also an old people thing because old people will say the Walmart. You know what I mean? Like, I have the cancer. Like in old Southern ladies go the cancer. Like, you know what I mean? Like the cancer. But that's a horrible.
Here's a funny one.
I know it's terrible, but no, wait. I need to get to something because we're on this conversation right now. I had to explain code switching to my boss today.
Okay.
Do you know what code switching is?
Maybe. Explain it.
Okay. Code switching is something that a lot of us do, where we are a different person at work than we are at home.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm a vastly different person at work. Like when I first started hanging around my girl all the time, and the way I cuss and I say nigga all the time and all that other stuff, she asked me, like, early in the relationship, like, how the fuck do you go to work like this? And I was like, because I'm not me at work. A lot of people do it. I am Michael of the company at work, but like I'm a vastly different person at work. At one time, my coworkers asked me about podcasting, and so I let them watch just the beginning of a facetious show, and you know, a couple of my coworkers was like, "I didn't even know you talk that much." That tells you what kind of person that I am, how different I am at work. They say, "I didn't even know you talked that much."
Well, like, I mean, a lot of people do this, and the job don't really, they want you to represent the company when you're not, even if you're not on the company, but nobody does that. You know what I mean?
See, here's the thing. Being a black man and a rather large black man, like that, I'm not really that tall. Like, I'm right at 6 feet. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm not short. From the moment I became over the average height for a man, which is 5'7". From that moment, I had to constantly be aware of my blackness in social situations at all times. Because, like, the thing about it is, like, you can go to work and, like, if someone says something to you that you don't like and stuff like that, you have something thing over me where you can actually be angry at work. I can't be angry at work. Like there is nothing more terrifying than to the general populace at large. There is nothing more terrifying than an angry black person, especially a rather large angry black person. It's kind of like what happened with Mike Brown. Like the way that the cop described him when he tried to stop Mike Brown, and Mike Brown got angry for being stopped. He basically explained to him, he explained Mike Brown basically like the Incredible Hulk. But think about this from the perspective of the cop. They were roughly the same size. Now, Mike Brown was not a little dude. Like, he was like, he was over 6 foot, and he was a big dude. But so was the cop. They were roughly the same height and kind of the same weight, with the difference of the cop had a gun and was afraid of Mike Brown being angry, because in the moment he became angry, that guy became the Incredible Hulk, and he needed to be put down. And that's why he ended up shooting Mike Brown and just leaving him in the street, because he was so scared for his life, just because this guy who does not have a gun is more terrifying than anything else, especially when you have a fucking utility belt of tools you can use against that guy. So the idea, and he was talking about, we were having a conversation started. He asked me about the old Megyn Kelly thing, where she said that she has worn blackface in costumes, like, and then she said it was kind of like in the 70s or whatever like that. He was asking me about that, and then we talked about, like, media of that time, and he was talking about reading books from like Mark Twain and stuff like that. And there's a book where I can't remember which book that he said that he read, but there's a book where there's a family, and the family has a maid, and the kids go with the maid to like church or something like that. And the maid was a completely different person in her element than she was in their home, and how much that shocked the kids. Not like, so like, this is something that he said he ran in school. I didn't read a lot of the same stuff in school because I failed the 3rd grade, and after the 3rd grade, I was pretty much put in mostly advanced classes. So like, I wasn't reading the same, like, I wasn't reading like Huckleberry Finn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was reading some more advanced stuff than other kids of my age. So
right.
There's a lot of the stuff that I didn't really get to experience unless I wanted to unless I wanted to do it on my own. Like, there was no To Kill a Mockingbird in my classes. There was Their Eyes Are Watching God. Like that type of thing. So there was a difference, and he was talking about reading and enjoying these books, and then when he was explaining to me that, and he said that he didn't understand it, and I had to explain to him, like, that's just code switching. I was like, I am not the same person. Like, the person talking to you right now is not the same person that I am the moment I leave here. The moment I leave here, there is a completely separate Michael. And like, he doesn't want to know who Scarfinger is. You know what I mean? Like, you have no idea who Scarfinger is. But it's like, you know Mike, the work guy. You know
Right.
what I mean? He has no idea who Michael is. And he has no idea who Scarfinger is. And like, having to explain that to someone that's completely oblivious. Like I said, a few months ago, I had to explain to him that there are 2 different Facebooks. Like, his Facebook and my Facebook are 2 completely different Facebooks. And like, and how I know this is like, my girlfriend is white, and like, and she's not a wigger or anything. Like, so like, her her friends and her family and the people that she has associated with, people that she's known all of her life, are they're generally not wiggers either. So like, their experiences are vastly different than mine. So like, when she's on Facebook and I'm just kind of like beside her, and I can see what's on her Facebook. It's a completely separate Facebook than mine. And like when social issues and stuff come up, I'm like, hey, did you hear about this thing? She has no fucking idea. Because like all of my Facebook is talking about it. Nobody on hers is talking about it. So like that idea that, you know, I'm in a space right now where like I'm comfortable at my position at work and I really like working there. Um, but having to figure out how to keep these things separate sometimes.
Sometimes I hate the internet and the fact that like one, like say like one person goes off about something that's considered like a social justice warrior or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a Reddit feed. That Reddit feed gets shared around. It's only one post, basically. Maybe two. It gets shared around to where everyone sees it. It's all over everything. Screenshotted all over this place. And then it comes back as the internet's going crazy. Look at what they're posting. The social justice warriors, like it's a giant group of people, are going crazy when it's just like one or two people.
Yeah, I find this weird, and it's not a race. That part, you know, like you said, you know, definitely as like social justice warriors versus the rest of us. But I find this like in a thing where liberals versus conservatives,
Yeah.
because like you know, Knox is a conservative and he is a Christian, and like it seems like his whole platform is to expose how crooked the left is,
Mm-hmm.
and to kind of validate his point of not wanting to belong to that. And like you know, and he you know he explains his point of view very well. He really wants limited government. And he wants his taxes to be lower. He really wants, like, you know, there are things that he wants, but like his, you know, the things that track the most with people on his Facebook page are people trying to point out that liberals aren't saints. And I keep thinking to myself, like, I try not to say anything, but like at the end of the day, when the fuck did we say we were saints? Like, you know, like liberals aren't as tolerant as they said that they were. Like, yeah, but like the motherfuckers on the right are just as fucking intolerant, and like, you know, like liberals are, you know, we have our radicals too, but at least our radicals aren't fucking Nazis. You know what I mean? Like,
right, because I always seen it like this. Like, yeah, like when you think, oh, the Democrats or the Republicans, yeah, that's a party that, like, I don't, like, when I think about myself as liberalism as like an idea, it seems more like me. Like, you know what I mean? To where, yeah, like, I'm not like,
I'm left of center. If I'm going to call it, if I'm going to call like how I feel about things, I'm left of center.
Yeah, because out of the three that is people's most ideologies in America, the best one seems left, because you have to think the radicals. That's this idea in its truest form, is the radicals, because they don't see anything else. The truest form of right is fascism, right? The truest form of libertarian is anarchy. The truest form of liberal is communism. The least of those, which, depending on who you talk to, I would say is probably communism, even though it's terrible. But I would rather live in, you know, China or Soviet Russia than live in Nazi Germany or live in the Purge. You know?
Basically. You know something? One of the bosses at my job, well, the two bosses at my job, One is staunch liberal, other one is staunch conservative.
Mm-hmm.
The staunch conservative, he actually watches the Purge TV show. And here's the thing. I am very interested in the TV show for one reason only. I want to know what happens the next day. And
Right.
like what happens, like if the Purge happened on Friday or Saturday, I want to know what happens when everybody goes back to work Monday.
Is the show like, because it would be really brilliant if the show was like a normal show, like a normal, like everyday life show. The show takes place between the Purge, and then the movies are the Purge. And so the actual Purge show would be like just a normal everyday show, but they would be, that these people in the show are going to be like killing each other in the movie.
Yeah, it's a normal show about people having to deal with the repercussions of the Purge. That's something that I would be interested in, because I'm very much interested in what happens when these people have to, after a Purge, like when these people have to pick their lives back up. And like, you go back to work and Philip ain't there. And you're just like, well, what happened to Philip? Man, I killed Philip last night. You know what I mean? Like that. Like, why you kill Philip? Man, let me tell you. He drank all of the coffee and he didn't make no more. So like we had to purge his ass. Like that is the stuff that I would like to know. Like, how do these people pick back up after a purge? And that is the part of it that I am much more interested in.
Or like you're living you go to work to an office. Oh, I got this new job at this office. Well, everybody is new except for this one guy. Well, he killed everybody else in the office last year. Now you have to work with him.
Exactly. Like look, Toby from HR, who has everybody's address, he just went through and he purged everybody that worked in the office that night. So like, he went and purged everybody, and now he's already HR, so like he gets to hire all new people. And then like technically you have to try to figure out
my New Year's resolution is be nice to Toby.
Right. So like my New Year's resolution is be nice to Toby, because I don't know whether he hired me because I'm qualified for the job or he hired me to prepare himself for the next purge. You know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of shit that would happen in a purge type situation where Toby from HR would like set up like, gym memberships for everybody. And really he's just kind of keeping track of everybody so he can find out who's the strongest amongst you. You like that type of thing. Like there's a lot to be unpacked about like a world where the purge happens. You know what I mean? Like, and the purge itself, it only happens once a year, right?
Right.
It's a once a year thing. So like, I would like to know what happens for the whole rest of the year, because there are some things that needs to be like discussed. There are some questions that need to be answered, and there's some things that I got to. but like there are some things about a purge world that I am just so interested in. I don't give too much of a shit about the purge itself. I've seen the first movie. I have not seen any of the others. I don't care to see any of the others.
The second one's the best one. The first one's pretty formulaic. It's basically a home invasion movie, but the second one actually goes more deeper into it, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, unless I'm just in a purge mood on like Netflix or something like that, I ain't really about to care about the movies at all. Like I just don't. It doesn't interest me at all from the perspective of the purge itself. But I am very, very interested in how do these people in this world pick up the rest of their lives and have to live out their lives for the whole rest of the year. And then, like, is it kind of like a reverse Santa Claus type situation, to whereas like you go through your daily life and you just kind of mentally make a list of all of the people that you want to come see during Purge night. You know what I mean? Like, I'm checking this list. I'm making a
and
list.
does everybody just want to kill each other? Like, is that
see, these are
like I would be like how about we not kill each other? And then we just go like steal a bunch of Xboxes or something.
Here's the thing. The thing about it is not just about the people that I want to kill. The biggest problem is the people that I don't know that want to kill me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like like I said, there's a lot to unpack with the Purge world. That is the show title, Unpacking the Purge World. Yep. All right, you go ahead. I mean, we pretty much talked this whole time though. We don't have a whole lot for consumption. So you want to get to it?
Sure, man. I really haven't. Well, actually, I have played a little bit, but not really. Like throughout the week, I played Tier 3 in its entirety.
Threer?
Yep. At with Fred Rojas for his extra life thing. We started at 9 o'clock and ended at 4 in the morning. We finished that whole game in that night. And we did take one break. I wanted to get a little bit of food, and he got some food too. But other than that, we pretty much completed it in one sitting, and that was super fun. I was like, that'll be something to do more often, like some co-op stuff that you stream with somebody, because I think it's a little bit more fun to stream when you got someone with you, especially like either one or two other people. Because I have someone to talk to rather than just talking to nobody. Or if someone does come in, you know, I'm talking to them too. But it's still kind of talking to chat isn't as fun as talking to an actual person.
Yes, and I actually So I actually thought about doing a live stream for the painting. I was going to do a live stream for the painting the other day. I was trying to figure out which platform I wanted to do it on, and but like in order for me to be able to do that, I had to be able to do it at least with my girl helping me, so that she could be the one in the chat letting me know what everyone is saying, and so that I can actually respond.
Right.
So it was just a weird, and like trying to figure out the logistics of everything was a little bit I wouldn't say confusing.
I think it'd be better if you did it once you got more of a base. Right now you're just starting, so right now your live stream would, probably just be me if I'm available, but because I'm not sure exactly who follows you. But if you had more follows and had people commenting, you could probably schedule it out and people actually tune in for it. But
yeah, see, here's the thing. I wanted to do it no matter what, and I also thought about a situation where I would record a video uncut. I would record a video uncut as if I was doing a live stream and just kind of talking through it, and then release that. They have a new thing on. They have a new thing on YouTube where you can do premieres for your videos now, and you can set up a day and a time for your video to premiere, and everybody who opts in can all get a notification 30 minutes before your video releases, so that when it releases, you're all watching together.
Right.
I would do something like that. Like I said, that's kind of something that I always wanted to do in a podcast setting where the podcast is recorded, and then the podcast is recorded and then broadcast, and then there's a chat also.
Yeah, so it's like you just live stream the recording, basically.
I live stream the recording, and I could be in there, I could be in there, basically to talk to the people, and also to kind of answer for myself and some of the fucked up shit I say sometimes. Like that type of situation.
Because sometimes, when we're talking, if we were live streaming right now and we were in a conversation, it does break it to be like, "Oh, what's up, Blue?" But
yeah. like kind of like what you call it, kind of like facetious. Like having to break and talk to people in the middle of the show, it really it works for facetious, but sometimes it kind of destroys the flow because I don't know whether it's a delay or something like that. But sometimes when people finally get a chance to respond, we had already moved on to a different topic and we got to come back to it because someone said something, you
Yeah.
know?
Or,
And
you know,
I'd rather be
he'll
I'd
go
rather be
back
at home.
to the responses after you already talked about it and then go through them, which works a little bit
Right.
better than trying to like.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, but the thing about doing it that way is you have to allot the time
Yeah.
to do something like that, you know?
Yeah, and plus Blue's pretty. I'm doing this in an hour, which you are too, but you know.
No, I would like to be as close to an hour as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I would like to be as close to an hour as possible. Which I mean, technically we have 8 minutes. Um, I will allow a little bit more time so we can get into our consumption real quick.
But yeah, after Fear 3, but throughout the month I've been playing Fear 2 a little bit, you know, because I started that because I was like, you know, I wanted to play some sort of horror game, and it's been a while since I played those games. And they're very unique in the fact that I don't think there's really any other first-person shooter horror games, other than maybe zombie games, but at this point I don't really consider zombies horror anymore. But, even though I know it is, but it's like, it's his own thing. Like, I don't consider Left 4 Dead a zombie, or a horror game. But, so I went through that, and then he was asking about some sort of horror game to play that night, and I was like, well, why don't we do Fear 3, because we can, like, co-op it, and I know he is really into doing...
It would sound a whole lot better if you call it for 3-year.
For 3-year. But he's really into the B-rated 360 titles, which I am too, and I do consider the Fear series a B-rate game. I don't really consider them AAA, but it's not to say that B-rate are bad. It's just, I guess it's more of a sales thing. Like, they don't sell as much, but I think they're very good games. So, I don't know. Maybe we should go through Dying Light or something, because that's definitely a B game. But
yeah, I actually have the Fear games. I was supposed to play Fear, I think, for the backlog thing that EDG did a couple of years ago.
But the first two are keyboard and mouse only. But I don't know if that still holds up, because Steam's got to where you can pretty much control any game now. You just have to configure it. So it might be a little bit extra work, but I think you can still do it. I don't know how fluid it would be with no aim assist and all that kind of stuff that controllers have.
Okay.
So it might be better just to try to find them on the cheap on the 360, but I don't know if you want to actually go out and buy them again just to play it on the Xbox One.
Fuck no.
But I don't know if they're backwards compatible or not. But they definitely look better on the PC. Like, Fear 2 looks great on the PC to me. Even though I think, I don't know, I'm not a person to be like, oh man, this looks bad, I can't play this anymore, I'm too used to Red Dead Redemption 2 or something, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be like that. So someone else will probably be like, yeah, it does look dated. But to me, I'm like, it still looks good though. It's just an art choice to me. Like, it looks like a video game. Sometimes that is actually like better for me. I'm like, man, I've missed when video games look like video games.
Exactly. I've never really been like a graphics whore. I do kind of, like, I'm not like the Ace type, because Ace is all about that. And like Ace and Nox, I'm talking about Nox a lot today, but they are like, they are both Mr. I want 4K 60 in all games, or as much as humanly possible. And I'm just like, I just don't care about 4K.
Right.
Like, I just don't. Like,
I get 1080 60 Ultra graphics on my graphics card, and mine's from 2013, so I'm like, why would I buy something like new when I don't have a 4K monitor? and my monitor only gets 60 hertz, and 1080 60 on the ultra settings looks fine to me. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm just not there yet. And then like a lot of people are talking about now that there's talks about the next consoles where it's kind of being floated out there that they're going to be trying to push 8K at that time. Well, like there's still a lot of people like me that don't even have 4K, and I'm not in a rush to get it. Like I thought I was getting it when I bought this last TV, but they didn't have the TV I was looking for. But I'm not in a rush to buy a 1X.
And plus, there's like more room for the game to mess up when you have all those, all the hair flows, and this way his coattails flow. Like sometimes when things try to be ultra realistic, it looks weirder. Have you noticed that? Like it's trying to be ultra realistic. It looks really good, but for some reason it's a little off.
It's the uncanny valley.
Yeah,
like, it just looks wrong because it's just a hair off from looking right. And like even with like the best video games and graphics and all of that other shit, like it's still hard for an animator to make eyes look right. Like to where it's like you're watching characters speak and like their eyes don't look dead.
Yeah.
And the only way really to do that is to make that shit mostly cutscenes and not make them gameplay.
Right. Because I don't know.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things to where I don't think there's ever gonna be a point where it means a lot to me. Like when I play a game, like when I just played Forza Horizon, like I was like saying, wow, this looks really great on my TV. I can't imagine how great it looks if you got an X and a 4K TV. But that was like my only thing to say about it. It was never like, okay, shit, I want to see this better. I want to get a 4K TV. See, that thought itself never crossed my mind, but I was just like, this looks really great here. It must look super great on yours.
Right.
And that's a cool thing for you to have. And it's a cool thing that we are able to play this game together because this looks dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we played some Killing Floor.
We did.
I think. All right. Here's the thing. We tried to do some of the seasonal challenges, and we did not do very well. I think it is 100% due to you playing a demolition.
Due to me doing what?
Playing demolition, demolitionist.
I think so too, because when I'm like, I think that's one of the reasons. I think I need to switch up. That's one of the reasons I'm like, you're like, hey, let's play some Killing Floor. I'm like, hey, let's play some Left 4 Dead or like something else. And then when I do play, I'm like, I'm having fun, but I think I'm getting burned out on just being demolitionist. And I'm that because of how much DPS it does to the boss when I'm the RPG. But I'm just boom, plop, boom, and it's got old to where I think I'm maybe Commando or SWAT or something to where it's just a little different.
I'm gonna tell you the most powerful class in the game, if you know how to use it right, the most powerful class is the Gunslinger, because that rack 'em up skill, it combined with line 'em up, is bonkers, because you get a headshot multiplier based off of how many headshots you get in a row. And you just start, like, when you end up with like the Deagles or the Magnums or, you know, one of the like upper tier guns. And remember, the Gunslinger just basically uses pistols, and you get to have two of them. You know what I mean? Like, and then you set that up with a headshot multiplier. Like, if you get a lot of headshots, things will just start falling. Like, they would just start falling. And like, as long as your next shot is a headshot, it stays at a 5 times multiplier. So like, all you have to do in order to keep your multiplier is not shoot anything until you got a headshot, and your multiplier stays. So like, you can kill a whole bunch of little stuff, get your multiplier to 5, and when the big thing comes, just don't shoot anything until he fucking shows up, and then unload at his bitch ass, and he's gone.
Right.
I will tell you this. I went to do some leveling because I do not feel right not having at least a level 20 Firebug. Firebug is my main. Um, so I did some leveling. I put it in. I put it in endless or Monsters Ball, and I got to 15 and then had to stop. And I got to 15 by myself, no issues. And the very first thing I did the next day after we played, when I started that damn game up, I put on a hard game on Monsters Ball, and I was a support, kill Hans in one try. No issues. Like I wasn't even about to die. I killed him in one try by myself, no help, and it was like it was nothing.
Hmm.
I got the AA-12, and I just let him fucking have it. The support is a really good. The support is a really good class. The things I like about the support is the fact that yes, you have all shotguns. Shotguns and the nail gun are the guns that you can choose. But some of those guns are like really, really good. And I think that's a good class to try, especially the fact that you give everybody ammo. The only problem with that is like the shotguns where you gotta that are not clips or drums are a pain in the ass to reload. But you can kind of get used to that if you kill something and then just reload
Well, I was
immediately.
support at first, if you remember. Like, that's the one I started out with. But then I switched to demo because I saw how freaking brutal the RPG launcher was to bosses.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because when you're support, that reload speed of the shotguns really doesn't mean anything because you're just going, and it's like,
and like with the new guns, the commando is now viable. Like the commando previously has always been the you start with this one while you learn how to play the game, and then you eventually move on to something else.
right.
But with the new guns, like it would like three of the recent guns can all be used by the commando.
Hmm.
So like the Hans gun, once you unlock it, the FAL, which I know a lot of people like in other games, the FAL, and the medic assault rifle with the grenade launcher can all be used by a commando.
Hmm.
So like it's a lot of things. I say gunslinger support. I really like the SWAT, but I know like a lot of people don't stick with SWAT. I know a lot of people like me because I started with a SWAT, and
Yeah.
then what happened to me was I would be a SWAT, and then I kind of branched out and I got like a Spitfire. I would play with like a Spitfire, or at the time the trench gun, which is now the Dragon's Breath. I would pick those up as a SWAT, and then I said, well, I might as well just use a Firebug. If I'm just going to keep using these guns every time, I might as well just use a Firebug. And I ended up really liking the Firebug.
Ooh.
Anything else you played?
That's pretty much it, because I just, every time I have a chance, play some Fear or something. We haven't really had a chance to play any Borderlands, which we've been trying to get back into, because we had a lot of fun playing through that. I was looking for some sort of MMO that was sort of maybe like Destiny, but not really like Destiny, that was free, that me and her can play together, because we do kind of want to play Destiny together, but we don't have two consoles, and I know I don't think you can share.
You only really have one real choice there.
And what's that?
It's Warframe. Like,
yeah, I know, but
that's your only real choice there.
Well, we were looking through some other, because I was thinking Warframe, and then I was looking through some other ones, and we settled on a game called WildStar, and then we got it downloaded, and as it was downloading and it's unpacking its stuff on her computer, you know how you can look at some recent articles or something on Steam? It said, I glanced over and it was like server something November. I was like, are they doing some sort of thing in November? And it was like servers shut down in November. I was like, okay, uninstall on both.
Never mind.
But it looked really cool though. Like, but I don't know. I guess it wasn't because it just come out in 2014, so it was only like 4 years old, and that's like nothing for an MMO, you know. So
Right. Yeah, like I said, your only real answer there, something kind of Destiny-like
mm-hmm.
that y'all can probably play together. That'll probably scale very well on her laptop. It's Warframe.
Yeah,
You really don't have very many options there.
right. So I'm pretty sure that Destiny won't play on the laptop, and I don't have another copy of it anyway. But
or you just
stick to Borderlands.
Yeah, or you get rid of the shooter thing in general and just go Diablo.
Yeah.
But Diablo is a completely separate situation because you can't even, like, that requires, like, BattleNet or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have BattleNet because I have Overwatch and Destiny. So.
Oh yeah, forgot. I don't play either of those on PC. So
and
I don't play Overwatch at all, and I don't play Destiny on PC.
Yeah, I mean, BattleNet's cool, but yeah, I don't have Diablo on PC though. But it does have like a free.
I have it on both the consoles though.
Right. So.
Yeah. All right. So for me, I have not played a whole lot. I have been watching a lot and falling asleep pretty early. Like I'll doze off and I'll still go to bed at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, but I'll like doze off and then come back and like I'm like, okay, I really want to play a video game today, and then I'll start watching a RimWorld video or something like that. Next thing I know, I'm waking up and it's an hour later. Like that kind of thing. Like I guess I'm getting old. I don't know what else you call it, but like that keeps happening to me. I keep drifting. But I did get some RimWorld in. Like I said, official 1.0 is out. A lot of the mods that I like to use are being updated. I'm waiting until like a good handful of mods that I really want to use are fully updated for 1.0, so that I can start a new playthrough with that. This is partially why I wanted a capture card. I wanted a capture card so that it wouldn't just I wouldn't just be playing RimWorld. Like I could actually like do RimWorld stuff, but in video form, because I really think that we're talking internally about some sort of like rebranding and putting more out there, and I think like having that will probably help us out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of people that don't know how to play RimWorld. There's a lot of people that don't know how to play Prison Architect, even though it's available right now on Xbox. So like I would like to be able to do more of that so I can help guide people and be like, look, this game can be fun, but you have to understand things about these games because they're not like the normal games that you play. And then like I got asked about Tropico because now Tropico 4 is backwards compatible, even though they gave it to us for free on PlayStation already. So
yeah,
no, they gave us 5 Tropico 5 on PlayStation because that's the only place where I played a decent chunk of 5.
That's the El Presidente one, right?
They're all you are El Presidente in all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing is be able to like balance out the different factions and make your island nation thrive while balancing a situation between having to appeal to the Allies and the Soviets, and the Allies and the communists and all that other stuff, and like nationalists and like all of these other groups are kind of battling each other for your attention, and you can't piss one of them off too much or they will stage a coup and come try to fucking kill you. And if your military ain't right, they will get you and then this game over.
Yeah, and like on the thing, I can actually like hopefully convince people that Persona is something that you really need to play.
No, I'm not going to. Not. Okay,
Take the same thing you just said about RimWorld and apply it to Persona. There's some things that you need to take account of.
You don't know anything about RimWorld. I understand what JRPGs are.
You don't understand Persona, or you'd be playing it right now.
I understand what JRPGs are. I'm just not interested.
Okay.
And I never said that everybody needs to play RimWorld. I said more people need to play RimWorld.
I think more people need to play Persona 5.
Motherfucker, we've been playing JRPGs forever. It ain't that much different than the rest of them.
Yes, it is.
It's a fucking JRPG. We understand what this is.
Well, they could say, like, I played SimCity back in the day. It's the same shit.
No, RimWorld is not that. RimWorld is a city builder. It's an RTS. It is a management simulator. It is like all of these things in one. It is not just. It's not just one thing. Like you got to manage.
And neither is Persona.
You got to manage a city, but you also have to manage your people, and you have to manage your animals, and all of this stuff. And like all of your people have like traits, and like they're kind of like low key. They're kind of people, like because they all
same thing in Persona, man. It's not just a dungeon crawler. You have to manage your social life, and you have to manage your knowledge and your.
We're talking about different things, bro.
Yeah,
we're talking about different things. But it's all good. Like I ain't gonna ride you about it. It is what it is. I'm just not gonna give a shit. I'm never gonna give a shit. Now let me ask you this before we wrap this up, because we need to wrap because we're over time. As far as I've been watching all my DC stuff, and that's mostly what I've been watching. And you can throw something in a second. Are we going to skip a show next week?
Skip a show next week?
Yes.
Are
we gonna not record on Thursday because I'm gonna fucking be there on Saturday?
We could do that.
Okay, that might be the play.
Do you want to record a show Saturday night after the stream?
Who said I was sticking around that far after 8 o'clock? Like, let's be honest. Like, I'm leaving your place at 8 o'clock. I'm going to stay somewhere overnight because I'm not staying in your house. Even if you offer, I'm not staying in your house. Okay. Because you got animals, you got babies, and like I can't. I wouldn't want to try to do something like that.
Well, we're probably going to have like someone watch the kids and stuff while we stream.
But that's still beside the point. I'm not gonna put that on you.
Okay.
But
you're wondering about the food. I'm doing chili, so
no,
just don't bring chili.
No, I'm not. I ain't even thought about that shit yet. I'm just trying to figure out whether we're just gonna wait and record a show that day. I mean, even if we take a break from the video games and play, something that doesn't require,
Magic the Gathering.
Oh, I'm playing the Magic the Gathering because I played that game that you sent me to the beta to, and the only card game I've ever really played like that has been Pokemon, and it's not like Pokemon. It's kind of like Pokemon, but it's not really. So I was just kind of lost, and I kind of did a little bit of tutorial, and then I was just like, "Yeah, I think I'm good on this one now."
We can play some Magic. I'll let you win.
No, you can play some Magic. I'll watch. I'll watch, and I'll let you do your thing. Invite one of your homeboys over, and y'all play some Magic, and then I'll just stay over to the side and talk shit, and we can record a show that way.
Okay.
Yeah. See, it all works out. All right, so you got anything else you want to say to the people so we can wrap this shit up?
Just shout them all out because they still listening, even though, I was wondering how everybody thought about me just doing a show, because I didn't know how it was going to go, but I think we held it down pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with it, and I would be the one that actually really had an issue with it. But I ain't have no power, so what the fuck was I gonna do? I listened to the show. I never listened to the show at all. I never, ever, ever listened to the show, but I listened to that one because I wasn't around for it, and it was cool with me. Outside of all of the metal shit that I didn't really know anything about, I thought it was a pretty decent show. I still listened to it, even though I didn't have any idea who the fuck you were talking about.
Nice.
Yeah, and I didn't really get any bad feedback on it at all. So
nice. So yeah, everyone's still listening. Everyone's still downloading. But what needs to happen is people show up for the live shows. So that'll be dope.
that would be dope. But then we'll run into the same situation that we just spoke about not too long ago.
But that's on us. We'll
but
deal.
At some point, all of the shows are going to be live, so it's not really going to matter that much.
But that's probably not going to happen until like March of next year.
It won't?
Well, that's the kind of anniversary of the live shows.
Yeah, but like, we already record this. We record this show on the service that we use for the live shows. The only thing you really have to do is just press go live.
That's right.
That's all you really have to do. And
plus, I have them kind of like evented out from my channel. But the thing is, when we go to like every show being live, it might be good to have that be on the Geeks Gone Raw YouTube.
And that'll be easy to do.
Yeah,
I figured out how to do that already. So we need to wrap this up because we're over time. Thank you very much to everyone listening. And we hope that you come back because we appreciate doing this for you, and we hope that you appreciate us doing it. This is Scarcasm. For Naomi Chase, I'm Scarfinger. This is Scarcasm. Peace out to the Warriors, Joe.
Laters.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, Walt. All right, I ain't gonna talk.
I could tell you what you can put on the back of your car in Forza 4, but that would be a spoiler.
I always do the same license plate. I already done it. I did my license plate already.
I mean, I can tell you what you can put on the back of the car, but that would be a spoiler.
Oh, dumbass. From the moment I started playing games where you can change your license plate, my license plate has always been the same. XLR8R.
Accelerator? Nice.
But in that configuration, like the letter X, L, R, the number 8 and the R.
Nice.
I thought it was clever when I came up with it like years ago, and it's not as clever now, but fuck it, I still use it. I did that shit.
Well, it sounds like something that would actually go on a license plate.
Yeah.
Because you have to like, you can't have a license plate that says titty fucker, but you can get around it.
Titty fucking is kind of useless. Like, all right. So, I don't understand the concept of titty fucking. Like, why is it better? Why is it better to titty fuck than to fuck any of the orifices? You know what I mean? Like, I would rather fuck an orifice than to fuck titties. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess I'll explain it to you in a second.
You want to say what? I mean, I've done it, but that doesn't mean it should be done. Like, I just rather fuck an orifice.
Yeah, I understand. Is this a rolling start?
No. Is that supposed to be on the show?
No.
Do you really want that to be on the show?
No. So, but yeah, like, what if you're feeling some kind of way and you want to do stuff, but your lady's on that time of the month and you can't really do stuff?
What that mouth do? Like, that's a simple answer. What that mouth do? Or,
But she also got like a sore throat.
Nah, you ain't got both.
Or she just had like 2 teeth pulled out or something.
All right, then we go to the backside. Like I said, orifices. You got three of them. All three of them ain't fucked up at the same time. I say that as someone that doesn't. I say that as someone that doesn't really get to have sex very often these days. So there's that.
The teeth pulled out, the time of the month, and she has a what's the thing with the blood vessel in the butt?
Blood vessel, like a hemorrhoid or something.
Not a hernia, but the other thing.
A hemorrhoid.
Yeah.
Then I guess I'm just not fucking that day. Like that's the answer. Like the answer is it's not really possible that that all three are fucked up at the exact same time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like if you know what, if all three are fucked up at the same time, then that's just that's just the universe's way to say you're not fucking today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because even if you go to the fourth option, it doesn't work the same unless there's some mouth involved.
Yeah.
Unless you're not strong enough to connect to the mouth also, which that's a completely different conversation that I don't necessarily want to have with you. But that I mean, if all three of the orifices don't work, then that is the universe's way of telling you you're not fucking today. Go ahead and work that shit out on your home play.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. So, what would you do if your lady was like, "Hey, let's dress us up like barn animals today"?
You buying the costumes? I ain't buying no fucking barn animal costumes.
I mean, would you do it?
I'll do it. I mean, Virgos are undercover freaks, right? I've always had the same rule. When it comes to me and my lady, I would try pretty much anything once.
Mm-hmm.
So if barn animals is the thing for that day, then I guess we barn animals today. As long as it's, as long as that shit stay between me and my lady, then we straight. You know what I mean? Like, if you want me to dress up as a cow, like like if you want to do costumes, that's cool. I only have one rule when it comes to costumes.
Okay.
No, two rules. You can't wear blackface, and absolutely no simian costume from me.
Simian?
Yeah, anything in the monkey family.
Oh, okay.
Those would be my only two rules.
Well, what if she wanted to be the monkey?
You can be a monkey all day long. I'm not dressing up like no damn monkey. Like that's a hard steadfast rule with me. You can be a monkey all you want to.
So you'd be the banana.
Not for your boy.
You'd be the banana.
Look, nigga, I already got a banana. Like, why do I need to dress up as a banana? I got one. I mean, technically it's a rotten banana because I'm dark, but like, fuck yeah, man. I got one. Look, if we go dress up, you know what? I'll wear a yellow condom that day. How about that? I'm just gonna complete I'll complete the set. Like, if you wanna dress up, that's cool. Let's do it all the way. I want to be if I'm gonna dress up like a banana, I want to be outside of my face. I want to be yellow from the head to the floor.
Nice.
Yellow latex bodysuit. That's what I'm talking about right now. Yellow latex bodysuit. I'm talking about with the head part, like where with just my face is out, where I look like a really crappy superhero. But like, I want if we go do it, let's
like that
do
suit
it.
from it's sunny in Philadelphia or whatever.
I've never watched that.
Oh, well, like it's like these. Like sometimes he like gets really drunk and puts on this like green latex suit, and he's like Green Man, and he just like goes around like causing ruckus.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna be like no Green Man, because like if you're doing this for that reason, like you gotta have your dick out at least. So like there has to be like something built into the suit that's gonna accommodate your dick. Like You know what I'm saying? Either that or just cut the whole part out and I just put a yellow condom on. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a. I have no idea where this conversation is really going, but I guess we're here now. You're recording all of this, right?
Yeah, but why don't you just go ahead and get this show started, and I'll cut out all that.
No, you know what? No, you can cut it. You can cut it. We'll start the show. You just stick this shit at the end.